As Helen promised a successor announcement on Tuesday, Kim and Stephen endured Rebecca's scorn. But their day took a dramatic turn when a convoy of luxury cars arrived at the Cassidy Group, and an elderly man addressed Stephen as Mr. Adams, with surprising respect. The crowd was stunned when the elderly man in a suit addressed Stephen as Mr. Adams, like he was someone important. Kim looked at Stephen in disbelief. Rebecca was especially shocked. It was only a few moments ago when she mocked Stephen for not being able to afford a single tire of her luxurious car. But now the owner of 20 luxury cars was calling him Mr. Adams. Rebecca boldly confronted the elderly man.
Excuse me, did you perhaps mistake this piece of trash as your boss? He's a freeloader who can barely make a living. Why are you adding honorifics to his name?
The elderly man turned to Rebecca. There was a menacing look in his eyes.
There's no mercy for anyone who insults our boss.
Rebecca felt a chill run down her spine. If she said another word, the elderly man wouldn't hesitate to harm her on the spot. Stephen cleared his throat to get the elderly man's attention. The elderly man's threatening aura disappeared as he looked away from Rebecca. Kim recovered from her shock and tugged on Stephen's sleeve. What's going on? Why are they treating you like their boss? Jack didn't show his face, but Stephen guessed that he was in one of the cars. Stephen hurriedly came up with an excuse.
It's probably because I went to Jack's house when I was younger to play with his son. That's why they're calling me Mr. Adams. I'll be going now. Have a nice day at work.
After saying goodbye to Kim, Stephen went into the car at the center, followed by the elderly man. In the blink of an eye, the 20 luxury cars disappeared down the street. When they left, Rebecca was so relieved that her knees went weak. She almost collapsed on the ground. In the car, Stephen gave Jack a warning look. He had told Jack more than once to keep a low profile because he didn't want to reveal his identity. But today, the 20 luxury cars almost exposed him.
Jack, you'd better have a good explanation for this.
Jack was nervous when he sensed Stephen's anger.
Mr. Adams, I'm so sorry. I'll be more careful next time.
Jack gestured to the elderly man in a suit.
This is Andrew Hendricks. He's one of your subordinates at the palace, and he's also one of our country's top 10 business tycoons. He came to tell you what he discovered about the Adams family while in Washington, D.C.
Stephen hadn't heard of Andrew before, but his position at the palace should be higher than Jack's.
Mr. Adams, please forgive me. I didn't mean to draw so much attention. I tried my best to keep a low profile, but these 20 cars are the minimum necessity to pick you up,
Andrew said in a meek voice. His intimidating attitude when he'd threatened Rebecca was nowhere to be seen. Stephen couldn't be bothered to explain that having 20 luxury cars gathered in one place to pick one person up was overkill.
Forget it. What'd you find out?
In the past, his family had kicked him out of the house because of a few words from a stranger. If the priest hadn't passed by and saved him, he would have been nothing but a pile of bones. Andrew took out the file he'd prepared and gave it to Stephen. Stephen wasn't pleased when he looked it over.
Isn't this interesting? My brother has leukemia, and my family wants me to donate my bone marrow. They're probably planning on sending people to Los Angeles to look for me.
When Stephen tightened his grip on the armrest, it cracked, and the broken pieces fell to the floor. Jack and Andrew kept quiet as they stared at the mess on the floor. They were afraid of Stephen's strength.
Andrew, excellent job. Keep an eye on them. When they send people to the city, inform me as soon as possible.
Andrew was relieved that Stephen had approved of his work.
Yes, sir.
When Stephen looked out the window, he noticed the luxury villas that Kim had talked about this morning. She told him that it was her dream to live there.
Jack, how many villas are at the highest point in the city?
Jack had done his research on these villas before, so not only did he know how many there were, he also knew how much it would cost to purchase them.
There's 21 villas. 20 of them are estimated to be worth $100 million, and the villa at the very top is worth $300 million.
Okay, my wife told me she wants to live in one of those villas. Take care of it.
I understand, Mr. Adams. Which villa would you like to purchase? As the Grand Palace Master, I believe the villa at the top would be suitable for someone of your caliber.
Stephen looked at Jack as if he had just asked a stupid question.
What do you mean, which villa? I was asking you to purchase all of them. All of the villas?
Andrew exclaimed in disbelief.
21 villas would cost $2.3 billion. Jack didn't have much of a reaction. After all, Stephen had asked him to purchase global investments for $10 billion not too long ago. Stephen took out his phone and looked at the calendar. Jack, I want all of the property certificates for the villas before the end of this week. Jack answered without hesitation. Yes, sir. But on the inside, his heart was racing in panic. He had no idea how he would be able to complete such a large purchase in a week. To make things more difficult, those who lived in the villas were some of the wealthiest families in the city. By the time Stephen finished his discussion with Jack and Andrew, it was already time to pick up Kim from work. He waited outside the company for quite some time, but he still didn't see any sign of her. Stephen decided to go in and look for her. The first thing Stephen saw when he went inside was Rebecca. A young man was standing next to her. Rebecca hadn't completely recovered from her shock this morning, and she hadn't forgotten the humiliation she faced because of Stephen.
Is this who I think it is? Aren't you the boss who needed 20 luxury cars to pick you up? Why are you still going around on a bike?
Stephen ignored her and looked at the young man standing next to her.
Where's Kim?
This man was one of the members of the Cassidy family, and he didn't think too highly of Stephen.
How would I know?
Rebecca smirked.
What, are you here to look for your wife? Maybe she's having a good time with another man right now. Why else would Jack have helped you too? Wasn't it because she used her looks to win him over?
Even though Jack had announced that he and Stephen were close, Rebecca didn't believe him. No matter how much she thought about it, she could only come to the conclusion that Jack had attended the gathering as Kim and Stephen's guest because he coveted Kim's attractive appearance. Stephen glared at Rebecca. It didn't matter if people laughed at him or criticized him, but it was a different story if they insulted Kim. Before Stephen could respond, Harry entered the building. Behind him was Kim, who was carrying several bags.
Kim, isn't that your good-for-nothing husband? It looks like he came to pick you up from work. Well, that's the least he can do as a freeloader in your house.
Kim was surprised when she saw Stephen. She thought he had some business to attend to with Jack today. She hadn't expected him to come back so soon. Stephen, why are you here? Stephen didn't say anything. He went up to Kim and took the heavy bags from her hands. Kim had obtained a $500 million investment, but Harry was still looking down on her, and he was even making her carry his bags for him.
Why are you doing things like this?
Stephen's voice was calm, but Kim could tell that he wasn't too happy about what was happening. Will Stephen's bold promise be enough to turn the tide and prove his love to Kim? Or will it push them both further apart?
Hi, I'm Stephen.
Want to know my secrets?
Then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Secret Succession now.